Welcome to the Rob Liefeld Show featuring Robservations. I bring 5 decades experience in the world of comic books and entertainment. I am not some bystander watching the industry go by. I am a full-blown participant, having contributed lasting, memorable works to the world of comic books that have informed the business and the art of this brilliant medium. If it's happening in streaming, in movies, in comic books, in games, we are talking about it, we're discussing it right here. Hey everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Rob Liefeld Show featuring Robservations. I am your host. I'm Rob Liefeld. Thank you for joining us wherever you are listening to us from, whatever platform. Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or our YouTube channel. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for saying hi. Thank you for sharing the love. I'm still just always gliding high on the enthusiasm that you all share. This weird little show that I started to talk to people in the pandemic and share my love of comics has grown beyond anything I ever possibly imagined. And when I see so many of you out in public, out at functions, out at shows, out at restaurants, and you have told me what the show means to you and what you've learned, more importantly, what you've learned, I'm so grateful, so thankful. I do want to say right here off the top, because I get a kick out of this, because you guys are so great. You sometimes share with me some of the whining out there, and to the guy that doesn't understand why I introduce myself and give my credits on every show. This show is reaching new audience members each and every week. So there's somebody who is coming to the show who may have never been familiar with myself or my work, and credentials help because I'm not somebody who spent time on television. I'm not somebody that you've seen play football games in front of 30 million viewers for 10 years. This is comic books. I think we'd be kidding ourselves if we didn't say that we as comic book creators are still somewhat of a niche. We are niche. And so when I introduce myself, it's for that new person who goes, who the hell is this guy? And I am going to tell you that I've been doing this for decades. And I am going to tell you about my experience. And none of it's going to matter as much as it does today, because here's at the point of the show, we're just a couple minutes in, that I'm going to tell you pretty much name this show for professionals only today, because it's really, I'm speaking directly to my fellow professional, my the large swath of comic book creators that are out there. This really isn't for the general public. I have been meaning to do this for a while, but some of the quotes and some of the stuff that I've been reading about and some of the stories that I've been hearing about and some of the contacts who have reached out to me and shared some of the situations, I figured this is the time to talk about it. So this really is for professionals only today, and it is my giving of some wisdom and some experience in the hopes that you will gain some clarity. And I'm going to tell you right here at the top of the show, you, the comic book creator, the writer, the letterer, the inker, the penciler, the writer artist, the artist writer, if you're making comic books, I am you. You are me. We are simpatico. I am a comic book creator that makes my bones, has made my living for 41 years, drawing, creating, producing, writing comic books, publishing comic books. That is the majority of my income over all these many years. I am procreator in the best possible way, in a world that no longer celebrates creator over corporation, or maybe they never did, but in a world where you openly have corporation fans, people all across social media rooting against us, basically the shut up and dribble aspect. Oh, you're just lucky to do what you do. Are we? You're just lucky that you got to sit at the foot of the almighty empire, whatever that empire may be. We are in a society, in a communities that really They want the corporations to give them what they want them to give them, and the creators be damned. And that's why it always is. That's why strikes for talent are always so delicate, because a strike may put a pause in the creativity of a work that people have come to enjoy. Uh, a show may be delayed, and the big corporations always gamble on the fact that the talent, by striking, will earn the resentment of the public, who will say, "You're so lucky you get to write that TV show in the first place. Get back in that writer's room. Take that pay cut. Don't stop striking." They bank on this kind of stuff. I'm pro creator, always will be. I want to see you do your best, be your best, and make the most. I am one of those who understands the need for an artist, and an artist is a writer, is an illustrator, to do as well on any given project or on any given weekend at a show, because that's going to finance next weekend's maybe bad day, or next weekend's time away, or the next project that you go into that maybe you want to take a little more risk on, but you've built up your war chest with what's available to you. In the last several years, we've seen the rise of I'm going to call it the agent and the manager in regards to talent. And you're like, Rob, they've always been around. They really haven't. Now I'm going to go to the very first time that I heard of a management as a kid. This is a copy of Star Reach. I am holding up Star Reach #1, featuring Cody Starbuck by Howard Chaykin. This was published by a gentleman named Mike Friedrich. I saw Mike Friedrich out and about as a kid on the circuit. I saw his name in comics like this. Star Reach is a anthology publication. Jim Starlin's got working here early. Walt Simonson. I can show it to you before we're done. Cody Starbuck is the first of what kind of 3 bites at the apple for this character for Howard Chaykin. Cody Starbuck kind of becomes Scorpion and Atlas, and kind of becomes Dominic Fortune. It's excellent work. Great Howard Chaykin. Star Reach was the management firm. Mike Friedrich was the head, and he represented several guys in the comic book business. At the time that I was getting into the comic book business, and as I've told you before, I would go to, conventions and sit next to George Perez and help him sell his artwork for an entire day for 5 hours, and we'd chit and we'd chat, we'd share stories. I'd hang on his every word. He told me that he didn't have an agent. Marv Wolfman, at the time that I encountered him, didn't have an agent. John Byrne didn't have an agent. Frank Miller didn't have an agent. Let me tell you what an agent's supposed to do. And agents in the comic book business have become much more prevalent. They are collecting blocks of talent. You may see them more. The most notably, they're going to be seen and most visible at signings, conventions, and otherwise. And we're going to cover all of this today, because there are good agents, but there are also those who begin to take a little too much. They get out way over their skis, and sometimes take those relationships off that cliff with them. None famous than Colonel Parker, portrayed by Tom Hanks, notoriously played by Tom Hanks in the Elvis movie, where Austin Butler portrayed Elvis Aaron Presley. And you saw the lengths at which Elvis's manager took advantage of him. It's part of the sad story of Elvis Presley. How the Colonel ended up, basically in many ways making more than Elvis did, despite Elvis being the talent. I mean, it's an age-old story, and it's a sad one. Colonel Tom Parker. That's the man right there. That's the man that Mr. Tom Hanks was portraying for you. I'm holding him up. He and Elvis had several fallings out, and by the end they were quite strained, because the Colonel had taken advantage of Elvis. We're talking about how you can avoid being taken advantage of today. There's a famous comic book icon who is no longer with us. And me and my friends, we talk about we avoid getting maxed out. Okay. That's what we refer to. And I feel like the modern age, uh, of what we're sitting in right now, from what I've seen, from what I've experienced, and most importantly, what I've heard from you. Uh, I've been contacted by many of you over the last several years. You've contacted me about career moves. You've contacted me about page rates, opportunities, job descriptions. I always try and give the best possible answer because I know I'm going to be judged on it. I know that my uh, response to you, my guidance to you is you're going to look back and go, did he give good advice? And I want to give you the best possible advice. Today, I'm giving you some of the best possible advice. Let's go to an agent. What does an agent do? Agents are uh, probably the most high profile in the entertainment industry and the sports industry. We've gotten to see famous agents of different sports figures and different, giant A-list stars. I was very fortunate to be contacted when Youngblood #1 came out, which was a comic that I just wanted to make a comic book. But I got contacted by one of the biggest agencies. I actually got contacted by two, and they were the top two agencies at the time. And CAA, Creative Artist Agency, where I was at for the better part of a decade, had told me that they wanted to put me in front of Steven Spielberg, whom I'm a tremendous fan of, Tom Cruise, a tremendous fan of, and eventually Will Smith. They did all those things. What an agent has many times is contacts. They have contacts. They can help you get jobs. An agent in the entertainment industry is going to look for opportunities for you and plug you into those opportunities to star in a role, to direct a feature, to be in a TV show. They're hunting for job opportunities for you. And for that, we're going to get to that in a minute, they take a commission. In sports, you've got these agents who obviously are going to take you on to get you the best contract possible, the best possible terms in your renegotiation, the best possible terms as a rookie. But also, what an agent does is they're going to call up on your behalf and say, hey, I noticed that my client has moved to, further down the bench. They're getting less minutes. They're not getting as much playtime as we would like to see. My client would like to contribute. How do I get my client back on the court? How do I get my client back on the mound? How do I get my client back on the ice? How do I get my client back on the field? Okay, these are all a product of what an agent brings when they are doing their job and getting their commission. So prior to me being with CAA, I used no agents. I had no agency. I got paid all the money from doing my writing, my penciling, my inking for any of the companies that I was doing this for. Ditto Todd McFarlane. For the purposes of this conversation, I want to let you know that I did my homework. I verified what I already believed to be true. Todd McFarlane does not have an agent. Rob Liefeld does. I'm talking about a convention signing, somebody who is going to make sure that we make an appearance, go to a store, go to a convention. Todd does not have one. Jim Lee does not have one. I do not have one. Robert Kirkman does not have one. And I confirmed last night in a simple exchange, Scotty Young does not have one. These are big names in the business. And for the most part, we book and operate our bookings ourselves. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. But the people who have seen what was going on with our great icon who passed, who was absolutely at 1,000% getting maxed out. And that's not a compliment. That comes with lots of dark clouds and suspicion. This spurned on what I saw was an arms race with talent and collecting them. But that talent isn't getting you a job to draw Batman, or hasn't, or didn't, as far as I know. Many of the careers that I see that you've enjoyed were established prior. I'm not sure that any agent can call up and go, hey, I want my guy doing X-Men. Let's go. If that is indeed the case, fantastic. Then that relationship has evolved. But for the most part, uh, big giant superstar guy got the job that he got because he's big giant superstar guy capable of big giant superstar storytelling. He didn't get it because of a guy who entered the field in the last decade and started hustling editors. The giant storytelling guy's phone's going to ring all the time because he's big giant storytelling guy, big superstar talent. Okay. I have heard in regards to commissions for talent that are going to appearances. This is very disturbing. They are exceeding the understood kind of charge that is leveled for these kind of duties, if you would. Now, some of these agents that I'm speaking of also represent your artwork. They sell your artwork. So we're going to get into all this. We're into it. We're doing it right now. I just want the best for you. I'm going to keep saying this again and again and again. I want the best for you, and I have no problem sharing this. I do not get out, and I do not do as many shows as I used to. I have not for the last. I'm going to go. I really turned the faucet off in regards to making personal appearances on a regular basis 8 years ago. I had gotten out there. I had done the circuit. I had appeared at a lot of different places. I had appeared at different spots I'd never appeared before. I didn't remember being in Wisconsin, so I decided I'll go be, at a Wisconsin show. It's been about 20 years since I have been to New Orleans. I didn't go back and farm that territory again and again and again. This summer, it'll be 5 years since I've been to Florida. And they have big shows. People are always like, why don't you go to this big show in Florida? So the reason I don't do any of the shows on the circuit are because I just do not have time. I am currently one of a handful of writers, guys who are wearing all the hats and hitting a monthly spot. That requires a ton of work. There used to be way more. I mean, I think to my knowledge, in the heyday in the 90s, there was 24 guys writing and drawing their own work regularly. Now it's dwindled to a much smaller number. Are there 8? Are there 10? And some of you guys will go, oh, this guy, except this guy hasn't written and drawn his own comic in 14 months. So he's not part of this equation right now. Doing it at my age, and the point of the matter is, when the 4th issue of Youngblood comes out, it will have exceeded the content that I gave you with 5 issues of Deadpool Team Up. I'm telling 30-page stories a month, and 30 times 5 obviously isn't 20 times 5, and 102 pages of Deadpool Team Up are going to fall behind the 112 pages of 4 issues of Youngblood that you're getting so far. And there's a giant size Youngblood that I shared last summer that was another 30-page comic that isn't going to the mass market until this summer. And that's already in the can. To do this is a tremendous discipline. I plan my vacations out with my wife. I've got 3 kids, trips and visits with them. At the end of the day, going to comic stores and going to comic conventions have become a rarity for me. I love doing it. And before anybody gets their, trousers bent out of shape, I do very well when I do these conventions. I have been paid 6 figures to do a convention. I have done stores in the last year where the owner of Golden Apple says, Rob, that was our biggest signing in a decade. In Arizona, the store that I appeared said, Rob, this is our biggest signing ever. When I do these, when I venture out, they are greeted with tremendous energy and great success, and I'm humbled, and I am thankful for that. I just can't get out and do it. It takes a toll. Beyond arriving, it takes travel. It's drive to the airport, get on the plane, take the flight. Oh, the day before is the packing, the preparation. land, wait for the rental car, check into the hotel. I'm already exhausted. That stuff got under my skin in my 20s, in my 30s. Now I'm about a year and a half from being 60. I can't wait. But man, that stuff, I'm anti-travel. Period. Now I'm like I have become very anti-airport. So that's just wrapped up in a neat neat and tidy little bow is why I am not out on the circuit as much as I used to be. I just don't have time. These pages aren't going to write and draw themselves, and I can't afford to miss a week every time I travel. And, the late, great Sal Buscema, I did a bunch of reading on him, even post the episode that we just posted on him. And he gave a very interesting, I was wondering, why didn't I ever see Sal Buscema? And he lays it out that it wasn't worth it. They couldn't make it worth his time, and just comping his airfare and his hotel wasn't enough to get him to leave his family for a weekend to go to a personal appearance. It's all there. It's in the interview. He repeats it several times. And I'm like, wow, very disciplined. He said, I have work to do. I have jobs I've accepted. I have time. I have to do them. I can't get off the road. I just can't jump on everything I just told you. Go to the airport, grab the plane, fly, do the show, come back exhausted, and I still have to hit all these marks. Many of the people who are out on the convention circuit are doing it to bolster their income. They are doing it to, enhance their bottom line. They're doing it to increase their earnings, and more power to them. That's why that they absolutely should. We applaud that. We all applaud that. I make it a point, if there's talent around in my town. Ron Wilson, who I had never met before, he had drawn a bunch of comics. He was out here several years back, 8 years ago. I drove to see him. I bought some prints. I paid for some signatures. I'm telling you, this is, I want to say 2018. A couple of years later, Keith Pollard was there. I had never met Keith Pollard. He had drawn so many comics that I grew up loving. I bought prints. I've always told you guys, whether it was Neil Adams, Joe Sinnott, guys in my peer group, I want to give them money. I want to contribute to their earnings. I want to say thank you to them. I get it. It's why they're giving up their weekends, just like Sal Buscema pointed out in his interview. When these people go to these shows, and some of them have made them their prime source of income, it is shocking to me to learn that many of them are giving commissions to managers and agents who did not a whole lot more than book the gig for them. And so let's get into this. The Hollywood agent takes 10%. They took 10% when Tom Cruise paid me $500,000 in 1993. They took 10% when a deal with Will Smith made me $1.6 million in 1997, 98. And they took 10% on a $5 million deal that I did about a year ago. 10% is a big number. 10% on $5 million is $500,000. Okay, that's a big damn check, and it should not be diminished in any way, shape, or form. When you sell your house or you're negotiating, you're getting down to 2%, 1.5% with your broker, with your realtor. 10% is a lot. 10% is a big chunk of change. I am here. 10% is fair. So let's agree 10% is fair. When I go to a show, when I go to a comic store, I book my own travel. I get on the phone, I discuss, or I text, and I discuss with the store what the dates are going to be. When you saw me in Orlando at Coliseum of Comics put no money into me being there. My personal travel, that of the travel of my friend Dave, they did not pay for my airfare, my hotel, my rental car. I appeared on my own dime because I negotiated terms that I would come in, I would sign a free book for every customer, but that I would be allowed to sell and share with everyone my exclusive materials. They said yes. I didn't want that burden on them. I didn't want that. I didn't want it. Mostly, I don't do it because I don't want to disappoint them. I don't want them to have spent money and then said, "Oh man, I put this out and I lost it." Okay, that's what's always driving me. So I decided to secure it myself. We did a Florida tour. The next year, we did a Texas tour. I am personally discussing with those stores. I negotiate the times of the signings, the days. Then I go out, and guys, I hate it. I hate opening up my laptop. I hate making plain. You'd be, are you sure your wife doesn't do it? Then I'm telling my wife what I want to do, and in the because she'd love to do it. Joy would love to help me out, but in the time that I inform her of what I want, I can already have hunted it down online. Select, pay, go. Same with the hotel. I just do it myself, and I've been doing it myself since 2015. I get Dave his ticket. I get Dave his hotel room. Many of you have seen Dave on the road with me. We go out and we do our thing. We have had some tremendous, incredible store signings, convention appearances. I think I was last in MegaCon in 2018 when Deadpool 2 was coming out. Monster weekend. Monster for me. It was incredible. So I've been there. I know how big the show is. I used to go to Emerald City. I used to go to MegaCon. I used to go to Dallas. I don't do any of those shows. Aside from the fact that I don't care from the people that throw them, again, it's really, I got to get my work done. And it is minimal, about a week's time to go and appear at a show. But if you are going to a show and you have a guy who's booking you a table and bringing you a banner and securing you, your position on the floor, that's a 10% gig. Not 20, not 25, and I have heard horrific numbers in the 30%. That is, let me just tell you right now, you are being ripped off. That is highway robbery. Period. Full stop. Okay? You want to know why the convention wants you? You right there? Because you're a kick-ass artist. You're a kick-ass writer. You're a cover artist in tremendous demand. You're an inker that everybody loves, and they've got all your work going back all the decades you've been working. They don't want you because of your agent. They want you because of you. So just remember, if you're there and they're going to be giving you a whole bunch of Spider-Mans to sign, X-Men to sign, New Mutants to sign from the 80s, from the 90s, that's because you did the work way back then before you even knew this agent and this manager. So 10%, anything above over that is insane. Now, in terms of art sales, I've heard as high as 15%. That should be the ceiling, okay? It should go no higher. And we're going to get into some of those terms of engagement. Again, I'm looking out for you. Exclusive contracts. Todd never had one. I didn't have one. Jim Lee, as a freelancer, didn't have one. Robert Kripken, I guess, had one and then loved it so much that he negotiated his way out. Okay? They are to the advantage of the person who is getting you to sign the exclusive. It limits you in many ways. On the convention circuit, being tied, and so here's and I hear you. Rob, I don't want to deal with all as painful, Rob, as you have said it is for you to buy a ticket and book a hotel. Rob, I hate it. That's why I have my agent do it, and I give him, great, then make sure it's 10%. 10%, because they want you because your cartoon is hot. They want you because your comic book is hot, okay? All else, think about it. Before there were agents booking people in the business, there were successful conventions. The conventions had tons of traffic, okay? When New York Comic Con was blowing up, 2007, 2008, 2010, okay? I'd look around, I'd see my fellow peers. We were all sitting there drawing, exchanging, just starting to get the signature things rolling. None of you guys had agents and managers, and people still found their way to come up to you, and they gave you the money. They gave you for your commissions, and they gave you the money for your signatures. The idea that you're going to a table and it's been negotiated that you are going to give a percentage of your signatures, your commissions, your original art to the guy because he assembled the table and booked the gig for you is clinically insane. Okay? And the fastest that you can renegotiate that, get out of it, end it legally. Don't do something that's going to get yourself in trouble. If you got another year, ride the year out. Get the context of everybody at all the shows you want to go to. I've never met a show promoter who doesn't want to cut a deal. Now, the better deal is going to come maybe based on how much you press. Whether it's the auction houses who say, well, we'll give you this much. And you go, I think I can get better than that. And they're like, well, we'll get back to you in check. Okay, well, we get back. No, I hear you give better than that to this guy. I'm doing my due diligence right now on auction houses. I have a lot of art. There's always wiggle room for you. Some of you guys got signed to be part of a bundle. There was a point, I believe it was maybe MegaCon of 2018, that I walked up and down and realized I'm looking at a bundle. It's a Happy Meal of creators. And they all, literally 99% of them, were working on Batman at the time. So the entire Batman family, and it's like, well, hey, I got this guy in this Batman book, I got this guy in this Batman book, I got this guy in this Batman book. Okay. Maybe it was a Spider-Man family. To me, I remember it being the Batman family. And you're part of a bundle. And we're all in a very small community. I started this off by saying we're niche. We're also real tiny. And everybody talks, and everything that everybody says about everybody else reaches everybody else eventually. And it is, some of you guys are tired of being the sixth guy on the call sheet, the seventh guy down the aisle. And you signed, and you were signed so that they wouldn't be looking at across you from the other end. They wouldn't be looking across you at a competing table. Some of you were signed to take you off the floor and on their side, so you could be maintained, controlled, and that a pecking order could be established. Pecking orders. I was told that the pecking order would change when Image Comics started. One of the partners said, it's not going to be the same. This Todd, Rob, Jim thing, it's not going to be the same. Okay. That person had been paying attention to a pecking order and believed that the pecking order could be changed. It didn't. It changed, but not in the favor that they believed. Pecking order is important. People are always looking to advance. Some of you have bought into a system that you're not going to advance. You're going to do exactly what the agent tells you to do when the agent tells you to do, and don't get out of place. And some of you, this is resonating with you on a deeply personal level right now, and I'm reaching out to you and telling you, you can change this. You can make that a different scenario, okay? You can call up, you can renegotiate. 10% is the standard. Stop giving away more than 10%. I'm really finding out, and I have been told, in the 20s, the 25, the 30. This is ridiculous. And the guy who's convinced himself that he's the wizard, that only he can summon this interest in you, that only he can summon these prices, that's bullshit. It's you. It's because of you. You're the talent. You're the one shaking the trees. You're the one that is creating the opportunities because of the excitement that you put on a page. That's it. I'm doing this for you today. In the original art world, like I said, okay, let me tell you something. I'm gonna in the contacts matter. When my agent sends me to go meet production studio or go to the studio or go to the production house, and I go to that office and I meet the people that I meet, I then have their contacts forever. And I may call them and say, hey, Paul, hey, Tom, hey, Billy, hey, Tanya, I'd like to talk about a project with you. I know we haven't met in the last year, but I've got this thing. I'm going to go directly to you. Whether I'm with the agency anymore or whether I'm not, I've met those people. I've shook their hands. I've gotten to know them. I've taken their information. We're off to the races. They're not secret behind a curtain where I can't ascertain their identity. You, as an artist, have that same right. When your work is sold, or if there is interest in your piece and it is being communicated by the agent, you have a right to know who is buying that piece. Many times, and I have seen this over 40 years, they try and obscure the identity because they don't want you to go directly to that buyer after this particular deal. They want to control every aspect of it. Bullshit. Get the name, get the contact. Oh, he's some guy over in Europe. Make sure you know who that guy over in Europe is so that you can always have that contact. Don't allow their contact list, or back in the day in the 80s, we call it their Rolodex, to be controlled. If that buyer is buying that art from you, you should know who that buyer is. You should have that contact. You should be able to be in contact with them, okay? Oh, no, 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 let me control this. Bullshit. That, once the deal is done, the 10% or the 15% tops that guy, that dealer, that art guy is getting is so that he can send and securely package, wrap, insure, and mail that art out so that you don't have to worry about it. If that's worth 10 to 15% to you, that's a good gig. Above and beyond is ridiculous, and not being able to know these people is also ridiculous. In today's day and age, you need to know these contacts. You need to have that information. Again, at a big Hollywood agency, in a sports place, you get to know that executive, those people, so that when you're maybe going to be traded, you can call them directly. You can have direct con. Now, some agents will discourage it, but you should have the ability to do it, period, end of story. And in the art world, collect those connections. If you're not being told and being shared with who is collecting your art, who is purchasing your art, then you're being, again, ripped off, you're being deceived, and you're being shortchanged, okay? That kind of information needs to be out there. This may seem like no duh, but some of you, I have heard troubling things. I'm here to give you a balance, okay? I got to tell you, when I say that I talk on the phone with my other peers, we have had extended, many of the names I've discussed with you today here. We are like, what are these guys thinking? What are these people thinking? Why are they giving away so much just to get to a show, okay? Just to be, at the convention. The convention is going to have you next time, whether you're with that person or not, and do not fall for that BS. There is more than one convention. There is more than one show in every region. Maybe it's not to your benefit to go to MegaCon and be 6-7 down the aisle. Maybe you go to, I don't know, is there a SuperCon? Is there a Miami Con? Maybe there's another show, and maybe you're the only act, and maybe that's better for you and you're not competing. These are the ways that you have to look and scheme everything. But just being part of a bundle of a happy meal, being one of the side dishes when you feel like you're the main course. Do you think at some point you're going to replace the main course in the situation that you're in? You're not. You won't. Most of these guys are catering to 2 or 3 top talents and making sure that they get the best of everything because they need to keep them happy. And part of keeping them happy is showing that they don't do the same for you. Get out of that right now. Get your own deal. Do you know how many shows there are in Texas? Do you know how many shows that you could change your situation? I can help with all this. I'm just giving, but we have to first agree on this fundamental understanding of how to, conduct your business. You're giving away too much. What I want for you is to go home with the most money that you have. To go home with the most money that you can possibly make on the floor, because that may finance the next time you can't get out, or when your health goes bad, or when your kid is going to private school, or it's time to buy them a car, or it's time to send them to college. I've done all these things, okay? My kids are adults now. My daughter graduates in June, my youngest child. Been around the block, know how much this stuff needs to stretch. And then you want to you want to save for when you don't have to do this. Maybe in 10 years from now, I just go out on the road and I become, a nostalgia act. I decide to go out there and hit all those places that I stopped going to 8 years ago. I'm going to tell you right now, I'll book those appearances myself. I'm going to talk to the buyers. Those of you out there who are being whipped up into a frenzy, whipped up. The most powerful thing that I can teach you right now are two letters that come together to form one word. And that word is no. You want to make it two words? No thanks. Some of you guys are getting worked up into an absolute lather because this guy is controlling the fever. These guys, plural, are controlling the fever. Oh man, you gotta have it. I've got this. Everyone else wants this. I got three other guys interested in this. You want to take this off? Okay. So this week, three times, 1, 2, and 3 this week. People know the kind of stuff that I like. I've put it out there. I got 3 pages by my favorite artists from my favorite runs sent to me, one after the other. Hey, Rob, would you be willing to buy this? This guy's looking to sell before he puts it in auction, see if he can make a deal. I said, well, it's all going to come down to price. They give me their price. I go, that price is too high. And I said, this is actually even higher than the guy that tried to sell this to me 2 years ago. So I said no to him. I'm saying no to you. Okay, I'll get back to you. Rob, they're willing to drop $10,000 off the price. And I said, I'm still a no. I said, if that was the number that they were to achieve, which is doubtful, because one thing that I know is auctions. I've been buying at auctions for the last 13 years regularly. And that's 4 to 6 auctions a year. I know my way around auctions. I said, if that were to go to auction, in order to achieve the exact price that that person is asking me right now, they would get a portion of that. Even if it's 10 or 12% less, they would get only a portion of this. I famously, in 2017, had a guy close a deal with me. He agreed. I was going to give him cash. I was driving up to give him cash. Let's say the deal was for 20 grand. It sold at auction. He said, you know what? I'm going to take my shot at Heritage, and I have to pack this up and I have to send this out today. Good luck. Sending that. That's a pain in the ass. You have to securely pack, ship, get to the FedEx office, whatever. That page went for $17,000 and $17,500. Okay. It closed at $3,200 less the cash that I was going to give him. Once the premium and Heritage takes theirs, he was lucky to pocket $15,000. I didn't bid on it. It had already left my hands. Over the last 5 years, pages that I have been asked to buy for $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, $90,000, I've watched close for $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. Learn no. No reshapes the field to your benefit. And no means I am saying no to this as if I'm not going to ever see it again. You have to be able to, but that will stem the fever and make things better for you overall. Every single art piece, every single piece is not going to accrue. It is not going to grow in value. And some of these guys are being sold entire issues. Why are comics sold in entire issues? They are sold in entire issues because there's always 7 or 8 pages, any book, any of these great books behind here. There are 7 or 8 pages in these X-Men books. I'm not buying. They're not worth it. I want the key stuff, if I can. Buying as a whole job means that there's no weakness. You're only paying top dollar to get the entire job, which means that broken up, you don't have to go for the discounted pages. A couple of these guys who have done this in the last year, I've had lunch with them, and they have expressed to me their dismay because they've tried to pay for the entire purchase by selling off lesser known pages and are shocked at the lack of value those pages are holding. That's how it goes, guys. You're getting burned because you've been whipped up into a fever by a guy or guys or people or ladies and gentlemen who have had the microphone who are counting on the fact that you don't want to hear that there's 2 other guys overseas who want to take this from them right now. Just say no. Just say no. Back off. Take a breath. Because if that art that you like now, okay, pump the brakes. Key issues, I understand. Number 1 comics are in a different umbrella. I should have led with this. Let's establish it. A key comic issue But some keys can't be determined other than a number one status immediately. If it's the fifth reappearance of Green Goblin, you're taking a risk. I get caught up in the fever, not in art. But I'm going to say about 8-9 years ago, do you guys remember Red Goblin? Alex Ross was doing the covers. A retail buddy of mine, God bless him, Rob Red Goblin, he's going to blow up. You got to get these first appearances. I was like, you know what? When those first appearances were starting to hit Marvel and they were managing them in a way that seemed like they were all special. Spider Boy, Spider Lass, Spider Lad, Spider Girl, Spider Gal. Okay, it was that era. And there was a cameo of Red Goblin the issue before, right? I had to get Red Goblin. I had to get him. I laugh. I didn't spend a lot to get him, but when Red Goblin happens, can you call me? Because it hasn't happened. Okay, break the fever. Say no. Be pickier. These guys are having the run with you, and yeah, you have to wonder why this guy doesn't want these people don't want any of their clients' work going to auction. Auction is the great purifier. It is the great truth teller. You're going to see what gets a ton of run, what gets many bids, what indeed does catch the fever. You can look at some artists, track their stuff, see their, go on Heritage, type their name in, see from best selling to worst selling. Some of these guys in the last dozen years have had some of their work resell 3 times, and they drop and they drop and they drop. Very rarely do they go back up. Calm down, say no thanks, take a pause, stop getting caught in the fever. The fever is the same thing that is affecting the conventions. I swear, if you were giving more than 10% to go to a show that would have you anyway, that would give you that killer spot, and if you're being threatened, you got to go. You got to wait that contract out, and you got to get out of there. Some of these shows, if you're wondering why some of your favorites have been going to the opening of every envelope, and some big names are doing this, it's because they signed deals with some of these big convention programs, the big shows, or as my buddy says, the biggies, okay? They have signed them to big deals, 650, 750, 800,000, $1 million, more, which means they have to appear at 6 to 7 shows a year. They have to pick the calendar. Okay, you want to come back to Orlando because that's our biggest. Okay, but we also need you to make an appearance at Dallas. We're also doing a show in Denver. We need you there. San Francisco. They are then beholden to the money that they took up front, or that's going to be paid out across many payments. And so that means that they get to pick the time and the place. Look, I'm going to tell you right now, I had a person who wanted to buy the podcast last year. I had one meeting. You have to record these days, these times, and there's no negotiation. And that's when I'm like, I'm done. I just got offered to draw a comic book cover for a character I've never drawn before, for a big movie that's coming out, big movie, big budget movie. I don't think this movie is going to succeed, but I was offered to draw the cover. Oh, no. I know what that looks like. I said, do I have to make all of the likenesses adhere to the actors so that each actor is getting credit? I did a couple things for Deadpool. Deadpool's different for me. I did a couple posters that relied on everyone in the cast, from first on the call sheet to 10th on the call sheet. And let me tell you something. Each time first on the call sheet gave the fastest approval. But it's always 10th on the call sheet that's like, I want changes. And I want to change this here. Okay. Well, for a character I'm not in love with, intrigued by, I'm like, I am not going to do likenesses. Everything comes with a qualifier, with a stipulation. If you're going to take the deal, you're going to take the stipulations. I'm not interested. I don't want to record exactly when you tell me to. I want to record when I want. I don't do this show for money. I do this show for love. And in conventions, If you take that deal, they're going to tell you you're going to appear here, you're going to appear for this many days, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. Okay. You can try and swing the deal, and the deal points is good and to your favor as much as possible. If you're giving away your signature money, you need to see all the receipts. You say, I want to see every single, what? I can't show you. Sure they can. They can absolutely show you every single item that was sold. They can show you if 30 of your exclusive sold to one guy. They can show you if 100 sold. Get receipts. If it's cash, it becomes even trickier. But that is on you to make sure that you have a full count of. Again, Colonel Tom Parker and a famous, beloved icon, Elvis and our beloved icon, were both taken to the cleaners by guys who started figuring out how they could benefit better for themselves than for their talent. That is always the great downfall. If you're in one of those relationships, you can right that wrong. You can renegotiate those terms. You can make them more favorable for you, and you should do it as soon as this show is over, if not right now. Convention season is coming. I wanted to get this out there. Many of you are not getting the very best possible deal that you can. This was so important to me. I made multiple notes, okay? Agents, a normal agent is going to get you a gig. He's going to get you a job. He's going to get you that 6-issue arc on Wolverine. Okay? I don't know of an agent that can secure a talent, a job, especially a non-A-list talent. The A-list talent can get whatever they want, whenever they want. The up-and-coming guys or the veteran guys are going to have to use relations and opportunities in a way that has always been practiced. Be careful if you're being promised the sun, moon, and the stars. And until they're booking you your comic book gigs, and even if they were, that's what they're supposed to do. That's what CAA, we're going to put you in a room with Tom Cruise. I'm knee to knee with Tom Cruise. We're sitting that close. I'm hanging with him for years. Okay? That agency delivered. Did your agent deliver? Have they delivered? Are they delivering? Is it next year that they're going to deliver? 10% standard. 15% in the art market. 10 and 15. Okay? Don't let that guy convince you that he's the only reason that you can shake the trees. I boarded up and locked up all my Deadpool art. A year ago, I said no more. I've seen how the market's working. I see how stuff accrues. My stuff will be much valuable when my kids are in their 40s and maybe I'm gone. And so I took it off. I have a lot of Deadpool art. It's the 10-year anniversary of when you first saw the advertisement, which became the cover to Deadpool Bad Blood. I haven't parted with any of that work. That's over 115 pages plus 2 covers. They're in my safe. I have never tried to sell them. Not a single page. Some stuff you do as much as I do, you kind of let it go. You let it go in trade. You see that stuff make its way to auction, but if I trade it, it's gonna get out of my hands. I'm trying to assert control over the art of mine that gets out. There's a reason Youngblood pages haven't been seen at auction. It's because there's 2 people who have all of the crucial issues. It's me and another guy. And we have all those pages. And that's why they haven't been peeled off. And maybe at some point, I'll let my pages get peeled off. Some of my most recent work, I release under the auspices of, well, maybe somebody wants to interact with this and maybe they can grab it or not. But for me and my very positive outlook, that work will just continue to accrue over time, whether it sells now or not. There's literally no desperation. There is no hustle. Walt Simonson was the guy that shared to the entire world in the 80s that he wouldn't be selling any of his work. That's why you don't have any pages from X-Men Titans on the market, because Terry Austin keeps all his work. Walt Simonson keeps all his work. You've never seen any of the Walt Simonson umpteen amounts of issues that he did over 4.5 years of Thor and the covers, because he has them. And when they're released, it's going to create an incredible windfall for him and his family. He sat on that stuff purposely. He did commissions, he did drawings, but he wasn't letting the good stuff loose. That is a discipline that he gave to himself. Are you practicing that discipline, or are you being told, hey man, I got a sale coming up. What do you got for me? I got to put artwork up there. And then you're like, why did I do that? Be more discerning, or put some stuff in auction, or wait to put it in auction because maybe it's going to be worth more in 10 years. Can you carry that? Because this all gets back to, why are you doing what you're doing? Are you doing it to make the maximum amount of dollars? And maybe you're like, Rob, you don't understand. This guy is giving me the best gigs. If he's taking 20 and 30% out of your pocket, then you are walking away with much less than you could. And perhaps keeping 100 of that with a little less attention would be more advantageous to you than doing it the numbers that supposedly you're going to tell me are so great and having to give 25 to 30%. Those numbers like make it hard for me to breathe, think, process. That's ridiculous. I've never heard of it, but I've been hearing of it in the recent years. The convention will have you, because you're talented, because of your credentials. You don't need to be part of a bundle. You don't need to be part of a Happy Meal. You can find yourself to these shows, and maybe you hire somebody who works for a salary. What if you were to pay somebody a salary for the entire year that doesn't even, add up to two shows at 25% to the handler, okay? Or better yet, like I said, and it's hard for me. It's not easy to me. I hate making reservations, but Lord knows I've landed every plane, that rental car, that room, that flight, okay? I have tried to confront what I see as some real ugly elephants in the room. You got to be more proactive for yourself, and you got to keep more of what you're making at these shows. Some of you have said, I left so-and-so. I left so-and-so. God bless you. You're making the right move. Many of you guys, I see you. You're in your 40s, you're in your 50s, you're in your 60s. You've been doing this for 30, 20, longer than I have. You should know better. Maybe you got caught up in the fever. Like I said, break that fever. Learn to say no. In the art world, in the convention world, in the signature world. Here's the great thing about comic books. People are always looking to help people out for nothing in return. I will help you out for nothing in return. I have helped dozens upon dozens of people out for nothing in return, just so they can be better. I want you to do well, you to keep the money, you to keep the profits, you to maximize the earnings. Not the guy that wandered in and said, man, I can represent 10, 12, 15 of these guys and run the tables. One convention, of whom I know the owner, says, well, they convinced me that they're a convention in a box. They said, you just give me all the money, I'll divvy it out between my guys based on their status and get them to these particular shows based on how I see them. That way you only have to deal with me and not Tom, Dick, and Harry. Tom, Dick, and Harry, you should be doing this yourself. That table will be there. This is not negotiating to get you in the starting lineup of the New York Yankees or the Los Angeles Lakers. This is to get you a table at that show that you'd like to attend. Again, people are out there. They're willing to help you. They're willing to give you favors. I certainly do not need a piece of your action to help maybe make a contact or a connection with you. I said, I don't do the Fan Expo shows. I think those people are dodgy. I think a lot of these managers and agents I've talked to you today are dodgy. And it's up to you to figure it out. But figure it out. You could be doing so much better than what you're doing. Don't get maxed out. Elvis was the biggest star on the face of the planet. The Beatles wanted to hang with him. The Beatles wanted to meet him, share stories. And if you watch the Beatles anthology, it's like he had the life drained out of him. That's what Colonel Parker did. He sucked him dry. We saw it. We saw it portrayed. We read about it. From all accounts, Elvis was extremely disappointed with how that relationship played out. Colonel Parker got his and left the biggest star on the planet on the side of the road wishing he had cut a better deal. Cut a better deal. We'll help you. We'll absolutely give you the best possible advice. But the faster that you can break and represent your own work and shop around And there's a couple of you guys, and I've met you, and I love you, and you're really, really talented guys. You guys have already been through 3 agents in the last 10 years, okay? Some of you guys have already, you get it. You're testing waters all the time. You're the reason that person wants to buy the page, not because of, the carnival barker with the megaphone who's telling everyone, gather around, okay? No, don't do that. Be better than that. You've got in you. I'm sorry if this was uncomfortable at any point in time. Been doing this a long time. I want to see you do best. You do well. You make the most money you can. You keep the most money. I've said it now 3 to 4 times during the show. I'm pro creator. I'm pro you. I'm not pro hustler guy. And again, some of you crazy buyers who go, why did I hit that button? Take a step back. That guy who's doing that art that you love, barring some disaster, is going to keep doing that art you love. He's going to keep making new pages next year and the year after that. And eventually he's going to have a treasure trove like Walt Simonson, whether he decided to sell it or not. The body of work piles up. Most of us have made more pages than we could ever afford to release anyway, okay? And you get to pick and choose and make them gifts down, somewhere down the line. Not everything has to be a sale. Not everything has to be a record sale. People ask Todd, because Todd and I have asked. People ask Jim. People ask me, why don't you have any of your art from the 90s, from the X-Men, the Spider-Man, the X-Force? Guys, we'll never forget. Yes, that was part of our earnings. We sold those pages as part of our aggregate earnings, to pay for our families, to pay for our bills. It was part of what you did is go to the show and pull out a stack of art. Some of you guys, you'd be better to cut ties, go to a show, have your own art, represent yourself, keep 100%, have that person you're paying a fat weekend fee to watch and control and protect that art, and you've got your predetermined pricing, and you can make the decision in real time on the floor representing yourself. We sold our stuff because that was what you would show up with the latest Uncanny X-Men, the latest this, the latest that, okay? And that's why so much of it made its way out, and we don't have any. Todd has told me he has only a few Spider-Man pages. I only have a few X-Force New Mutants pages. As I understand it, Jim only has a few as well. Most of that stuff has been sold. Most of that stuff has been sold multiple times. But we sold it because it was part of our earnings. Because it was there was no heritage auction. Sotheby's was just getting off the ground. X-Force #1, X-Men #1 were two of the most key pieces of artwork to ever find their way to an auction of that kind of scale and reach. Do for you guys. I'm rooting for you. I'm always here. So many of you guys in the last several years have contacted me. You've reached out. You've shared messages with me across social media. I know who you are. I'll see your messages. I will try and respond to you. But convention season is in full swing, and you need to be protecting yourself. You should know how many signatures you've sold. You should know how much of your art, which prints, which books. And I'll wrap this up. But Rob, they bring my banner and books. You can do that. You can order your own books. It's not that hard. Anyone who told you that's difficult, it's not. Find a retailer. Tell a retailer you want to be told when this stuff is coming up and buy them. Have them shipped to your door. Then they're yours. You ship them enough time in advance before you go to the convention. You get the tracking number. You've got the insurance. They're at your hotel when you get there. Your books. All you got to do is with the person that you hire to run the table with you is walk them over with you. Set it up. I'm using the same banner that I had created 14 years ago. It's ratchet. It's old, but it has my name on it. You can see that it says Liefeld. It's the one that either myself or Dave will put up and put behind me so that you know when you're walking by, that's Liefeld, okay? I ship it on my own. It's not magic. There is no magic sauce to shipping something and having it arrive at your hotel that you can walk into the show with. The people who you want to book the table with, those contacts are on the website under contacts. Make contact. Say, hey man, I've got a big book coming out. How do I get the best possible placement? Start negotiating. I'm here to help, guys and gals, looking out for all of you, rooting for all of you, want the best for all of you. Start keeping more of what you make, period. End of story. That's it. Guys, thanks for listening each and every week. I love sharing with you any of the wisdom or the history that I've been able to pick up along the way. It's not rocket scientist. Today was a little tough love for some people who I think need tough love. Happy to supply it. Don't be letting that guy take 25%, 30% of your table. That's ridiculous. I mean, come on. You can get a commission list going. You're finding it. You see, I'm really finding it hard to take my teeth back out of this one. Okay, I knew this was going to be a deep bite. You can create your own commission list. Remember, I'm Rob Liefeld. I'm, supposed to be some controversial guy. I plopped down in my seat in 2013 at New York Comic Con, and my commission list was full for the whole weekend within 10 minutes. I had my prices. I had my sign that I got printed up. I had that plastic put around it. What's that process called? And you could pick it up as a menu. It said what I was going to, charge to sign a book. Different press members like, oh my gosh, he's charging. And they took pictures and they loaded up to websites like that was going to make a difference. Somehow I filled up my sketch list so much so that I put a sign up at the end of Saturday saying, I will be here Sunday at 4:00 for pickup. I went home that Saturday night and I did not go out. I ordered a pizza in to my hotel and I sat and I laid out different commissions so that I'd only get to the inking process the next day. On Sunday, I woke up at 5. I probably got 4 hours sleep, woke up at 5 a.m. I drew nonstop till about 2:00. Showered, got ready, packed up my hotel because I'm going to the airport after this. Realized I had 2 more commissions to do. Sat in that room until 3:30, got in the cab, got to my table at 4. From 4 to 4:45, I finished my last commission. Nobody booked those for me. I booked them for myself. I took the names. I knew what I was capable of. I knew to stop. I didn't pay anybody a damn percentage. So this is before a Deadpool movie. This is before any of it, okay? Just looking out for you guys. Okay. I'm all over social media. You can find me on the platform known as X. I'm Robert Liefeld, RobertLiefeld. I have a blue check. It signifies it is really me reading your replies, your comments, all of it. Some of you people who want to say really stupid things to me, I will broadcast that to the world because I think sometimes the stupid stuff needs to be shared. It reveals stupid thought. Those people who want us to shut up and dribble. Don't get out of line. Do what the man tells you. The man being the guy in the corporate suite. No thanks. I won't submit. I will not, be part of that action. I'll share that on social media. I don't have any problem. Sometimes we're just going to say hi. Sometimes I'm going to say, are you digging A Night of the Seven Kingdoms? And you're like, hell yes. I love Hedge Night. Oh, so good. Sometimes that's what it's going to break down to. Sometimes it's going to be live tweeting during a sports. Sometimes I'm going to show you the covers that are coming out, the pages. One thing you're not going to see is any interior art from Youngblood number 4. I'm keeping that locked under safe and key because I can't let you see it. You're going to have to see it when it hits in 3 weeks from now. By the time you listen to this, your retailer's probably ordered Youngblood 4, but that's the kind of stuff that I put out there on social media. At Robert Liefeld. Blue check, that's me on X. Over on Instagram, at Rob Liefeld. Blue check. Having a great time. Losing a lot of contests. Not getting a lot of answers right. Blowing it big time. But you know what? It is what it is. Some of you guys think they give me the answers? Zero. I refuse. I won't even look at the questions. I refuse to look at anything. I refuse to look at the menu when they are showing me stuff to review a cartoon, a clip, some fan-made thing. I'm seeing it and realizing it in the first time. I think the freshness is what makes it the most fun. Rob Liefeld, blue check. I'm also previewing art and showing you kind of what I'm doing with my life over on Instagram at Rob Liefeld, ROBLIEFELD, blue check that signifies it is really me. Thank you so much for following me over there and for making things happen and for being so great. I'm on TikTok. I got a check. They gave me a blue check. Finally, Real Rob Liefeld became Real Rob Liefeld. You can check me out. I'm there, having some fun, doing some skits, losing some contests, learning about comics, sharing my love of comics. That's the bottom line. That's what all this is about. I love comics. Thank you guys for following me on TikTok. Real Rob Liefeld is my name over there. Rob Liefeld on Instagram, Robert Liefeld X, Real Rob Liefeld on the TikTok, okay? I got a group on Facebook. We'd love to see you. We'd love to have you over there. We can have long-form discussions. We give each one of these episodes a dedicated post so that you can share your feelings and discuss your opinions on it. Rob Liefeld, Marvel Extreme and Beyond is the name of the group. Rob Liefeld, Marvel Extreme and Beyond. Join us. We're looking to have a good time. We want you to join us. A gentleman named Terry Sala, S-A-L-A. He is the other guy that's going to click you on through. Myself, Terry and myself run the group. We have great times, good shares, good stories, great art, a lot of great artists doing some great pieces in there. Rob Liefeld, Marvel Extreme and Beyond. It's on Facebook. It's a group. Look for it. We'll click you on through. I got a bunch of big live streams coming this week. We got the collector's edition of Youngblood number 4 that's going to be in your hands a full 27 days before it's in stores with a collector's edition, 2 collector's edition covers that you can only get from me directly on my live streams. I'm going to be on eBay this week. So look for that link when that goes. I'll put that link up on Robert Liefeld at X, Rob Liefeld, Instagram, Real Rob Liefeld, TikTok. I'll share these links in Facebook. So you can find me on eBay. You can find me on Whatnot. Get the Whatnot app, download it. Follow Rob Liefeld so you'll be live when I go live. One of the things that I do because I can't get to you is we get stuff to you instead of you coming to me. We have a 5-star rating, a 1-day shipping, generally 99% of the time because we take care of our stuff, okay? Join me on live stream. I'm Rob Liefeld on Whatnot. Follow me. Again, you'll be alerted when I go live. Love live streaming. It's so fun. People say it's kind of a loopy acid trip version of this show. It's much later in the day. I'm a little grumpier. I'm a little tired. I may throw you out of the show because that is my want. You just never know. Sorry, guys. Live streaming, I love it. Hey, guys, above all else, I hope that you're doing good. And I hope that you are taking good care of yourself. I hope that life isn't getting you down, that the grind isn't getting the best of you. Step off the hamster wheel. Step off that crazy treadmill that is grinding all of us down. It is a beautiful day. It's a beautiful week. I know it's very cold in some of the East Coast regions. Stay safe above all else, but watch that streaming show in the cold. Get that hot chocolate going. Have that soup. Go to the corner. Get that pizza. Get back. Get warm. Here in the Southland, go for that hike. Go for that drive. Go to that beach. Middle America. Anywhere. All around the world. Take care of yourself. There is beauty literally all around us every day. I'm so thankful to be alive. I'm so thankful that my kids and my friends are doing well. And I just try and have a heart of gratitude above all else. And I am always pulling for you. I hope that you are in the best possible shape you can be in your mental, your physical, your spiritual, and your emotional self is exactly where you need it to be. Life is crazy. It seems I've been saying that the world is nuts for 5.5 years. It's bonkers. Can I tell you that our next episode is our 500th? It is. It'll be our 500th episode on the podcast. We've only been on YouTube 7 months, so it can't possibly be our 500th episode. But we're going to have a fun one. It's going to be a fun one. This one wasn't as fun, but I hope it was informative. Thank you for listening. Take care of yourselves. 2 big, boom, fish into the Blue Yeti. I already had my Reese's Big Cup. When will I bring one on here? Maybe one day I'll remember. Maybe I should have done that podcast deal where they told me when and where, so I knew where and when I'd be each time, and I'd be more prepared, but that's never going to happen. Thank you for listening. I'll be there. Come back. See me. Don't leave me stranded, okay? Because we will most definitely, absolutely, inevitably, say it twice, inevitably, talk again real soon.